hey, there's news out of the Wikipedia. We talked about like a week and a half ago that Wikipedia started taking Bitcoin. In point of fact, Mark, you had emailed them a couple years ago, right, asking them to take Bitcoin when they do these pledge drives, because Wikipedia is probably one of the most used websites in the entire world.
Yep.
It's probably one of the most useful websites in the entire world. And, I support them when they ask for the money. I'll usually throw them $5 or $10 or something like that. But Mark, you'd actually been withholding your support from Wikipedia because they wouldn't take Bitcoin.
Right. I wanted them to take Bitcoin. I wanted to be able to donate the way I wanted to donate. And this was it's 2 or 3 years ago. And so I wrote them a little email and saying, hey, I'd like to donate in Bitcoin. And they wrote me an email back saying something to the effect of they have a responsibility to their donors to watch or a responsibility to be careful with their money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, I would appreciate you being responsible with your money. This is, however, my money we're talking about, and you should accept my money. You can trade in the Bitcoins as quickly as you want to trade them in, but I want to donate to Wikipedia in Bitcoin. And what you're being at this point is not fiduciarily responsible with your money because you're refusing money because somebody won't give it to you the way you want.
Mm-hmm.
And, then they came back. They're like, we're just not ready to do Bitcoin today.
Gotcha.
And I was like, you get back to me. Because I used to give $10 or $20 or something like that. I think it was 10 to Wikipedia every year because I used Wikipedia and I found it to be a great source.
Jeez, Mark, you changed them.
So they at this point, then they announced that they're going to do it. I'm like, well, I guess I'll give them a little bonus. Now I guess I'd missed maybe 3 years. I gave them a full Bitcoin, which was worth about $600. And what I wonder to myself is was this just a good plan on their part all along? Let's just wait, and then people reward us with much more Bitcoin.
They wouldn't have known that.
I don't know.
Would
they get? $140,000 in like a week?
Yeah, but had they taken them 2 years ago, maybe they would have gotten way more ultimately because people would have given them X, and then today that would have been worth, 600 times that. All right, more coming up here. 855 450 free. We'll tell you more. It's Free Talk Live. Off the air, Centurion, you're still kind of new to the whole Bitcoin thing. Does that mean you don't yet have a Bitcoin wallet for yourself?
I've been people explained it to me probably like 5 or 6 times, and I think the reason why I don't get it is because I'm so used to money.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with money all your life, and going to something different.
It's a paradigm shift. It's a total, I don't know if it's a total shift, but it's a pretty significant shift in the way we think about money.
And the fact that it's also labeled too, because my conspiracy way of thinking, I want something that's trackless, and I rather invest in gold and silver, but I might be heading that way soon.
I like gold and silver, and let me tell you, if you want to get gold and silver, go to gold.freetalklive.com. We can get you great prices on gold and silver, numismatics, as well as stuff like 90% silver as well. What's called junk silver. You get the fine 0.999 silver as well through the folks over at Midas Resources.
Coin silver, essentially, silver, and you're talking about old dimes, old quarters, old
right pre-1965. I believe.
That.
Yeah. So
sounds good.
Those things are cool, and they're neat. But the problem with gold and silver is that they don't you just can't transmit them on the internet, and Bitcoin solves that problem. So the neat thing is, Bitcoin is doing all kinds of exciting things. Like Wikipedia is taking Bitcoin now, and it was just about 2 weeks ago when they announced this. Within 1 week of accepting Bitcoin, Wikipedia racked up $140,000 worth of Bitcoin in new funding, according to Coinbase, which is the service that powers its cryptocurrency influx. Coinbase, a publication that tracks Bitcoin and other CoinDesk, a publication that tracks Bitcoin and other alternative digital currencies, heralds the news as suggesting, quote, the staying power of digital currency donations owing to the combination of tax benefits and transaction cost savings. I'm slightly more skeptical, says the author at TechCrunch, but it is without doubt that the donations are welcome at Wikipedia. This is about as big as it gets on the internet. Until Google or Facebook takes Bitcoin, I mean, Wikipedia, I don't know if it's the number 3 site, but it sure does feel like it's the number 3 site. At least I know I'm a fairly frequent user of Wikipedia. I mean, I can only think of certain sites that are out there that I use on a regular basis. Facebook, Google, and Wikipedia are probably the top 3.
The first time I heard about Bitcoin was actually on a primetime show. Believe it or not.
Primetime show, like television?
Yeah. It was a Person of Interest last season.
Oh, they actually wrote it into a fiction show.
Yeah.
Was that the courtroom scene where they talked
No,
about it?
I think it was one of the persons he was helping, and they mentioned something like Bitcoin. Oh, I bet you he uses Bitcoin. Something like
He's
that.
a criminal. He must use Bitcoin.
That's exactly how it was portrayed, yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at Wikipedia's list of most popular websites. Google is number 1, and Facebook is number 2. Number 3 is YouTube, which of course is still
it's also Google.
Google again, so that moves it to number 1 even more so.
Yep.
Number 4 is Yahoo, which I'm kind of surprised. I was a little stunned. A lot of people still holding on to the Yahoo email account.
Man, you got to give them credit. I mean, I've been using Yahoo since the beginning of the internet, and a lot of the other search engines have come and gone. Or maybe they're still out there. But
Lycos,
Alta Vista, I used to use that one in the 90s. I think they're still there.
They got to be.
But, they don't show up on anybody's radar.
Bing's not in there?
Not on this.
Probably not even the top 10.
Not above the fold here, I should say. Something called Baidu, BAIDU.com. I haven't gone and taken a look at it, but it's a search engine.
And this is global or United States?
Global.
Okay.
And number 6 is Wikipedia. So
wow, not
if
bad.
you remove search engines from the list here,
Baidu's a search engine.
Right.
Looks like Japanese or
That's
Chinese.
What I mean.
Okay.
I did say that.
I'm
it says
sorry.
search engine. But if you remove search engines here from the listing, then yes, they are number 3.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So, yeah, big news that Wiki's got it, and Wiki's taking Bitcoin, $140,000. As TechCrunch previously reported, Wikimedia Foundation, the parent to Wikipedia, doesn't intend to hold the Bitcoin, but instead converted to dollars at the time of donation, which is unfortunate. TechCrunch also noted that the foundation raised $18.7 million last year, making this $140,000 less than 1% of its prior haul, but 1% in a week could add up to a tidy figure provided Bitcoin donations continue. And Coinbase does not charge nonprofits transaction fees. So, not a huge chunk of the total amount they raise, and sad that they would cash it all out into cash. I mean, I understand the motivation when it comes to a business wanting to cash out the money that they get in Bitcoin. Like, for instance, when we interviewed Overstock's CEO, Patrick Byrne.
Yeah.
And I asked him, how much are you keeping of the Bitcoin not donations, but of the Bitcoin sales that you bring in? How much of it are you actually keeping in Bitcoin? And he said it was 10%.
It's great.
Which is better than 0, which is what Wikipedia is doing here. Yeah. And, at least
Wikipedia is just look, I guess we could do this and it'd be easy to get some cash and stuff.
Yeah.
Fine.
It might be a shareholder decision, too.
Yeah, I don't know how the Wikipedia is run. I imagine it is some sort of board of directors like that. I don't know. But it's obviously they don't have the vision for Bitcoin.
They don't. If they had taken my Bitcoins 3 years ago when I was offering them, they'd have a heck of a lot more money and just held on to them. They'd have a heck of a lot more money in value than they would otherwise, and they don't want to do that. That's fine.
So I guess, the good thing for them is that the Bitcoin donations are going to be next to free as far as the fees are concerned. So, when you take a credit card transaction, there's usually some sort of overhead. Although some credit card companies don't they give a break to nonprofits in certain cases?
I don't know the answer to that, but Bitcoin, there's money to get in a Bitcoin and money to get out of Bitcoin. So it's really sort of mitigable when you compare it to credit card transactions on the internet.
That's true.
So, but that's that. But if people want to donate that way, then you should let people donate the way they want to donate. What's going to make Bitcoin, what's really going to, make Bitcoin catch is there's these poor folks around the world send an incredible amount of money, not individually, but as an aggregate, send a lot of money back home to take care of families where it's much harder to find work. When those people can spend the Bitcoins that they get sent on site, that'll make a big difference. Because when you're talking about Western Union and these other ways that people send money, they take a lot of those people's money. And so they're going to quickly move over to services that take a far smaller percentage. Bitcoin takes nothing. I mean, at the most, if you add a transaction fee just for kicks, it'll be a couple of pennies.
So I'm looking at an article here that's actually fairly recent about Overstock. We had talked about Overstock.com being the first Bitcoin business, or the Bitcoin accepting business that's over $1 billion in worth, I guess, yearly. And Overstock, this according to Mashable.com, when it began taking Bitcoin, it posted a 1 million sales. 1 million in sales in Bitcoin 2 months later. It's huge. Wow. It's so enamored with the currency, it's offering employee bonuses in Bitcoin, which is a really cool idea. So again, he's holding on to some of that Bitcoin that they're getting, and apparently now they're offering their employees an option. So they can opt to take their bonus this year in Bitcoin, and if they do that, they'll get more. They get a bonus. They get an extra bonus. They get a bonus on their bonus if they take their bonus in Bitcoin versus in U.S. dollars.
Sweet.
Neat way to incentivize all your employees to really, okay, you guys have got the memo that we're taking Bitcoin, but just because Overstock's taking Bitcoin doesn't mean all their employees care or even know about it.
I've spoken to their employees, and there seems to be just in the meeting that I was, the teleconference I was in, just a sort of different levels of acceptance when it came to Bitcoin.
So their initial Bitcoin sales eclipsed $2 million recently. So the first month was $1 million in sales, which was in January. And so it slowed over the last 6 months, the amount in Bitcoin they've been taking in.
People initially wanted to support Overstock.com, but I mean, when you're not top of mind, you're not top of mind. That's why we have advertising.
Bitcoin sales account for about 0.25%, so less than about a quarter percent of the average day's sales. And by the way, interesting detail here, the number one state for people buying from Overstock with Bitcoin is?
And New Hampshire.
Yes, New Hampshire. Yeah. We're coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.